episode.
I think it's 79.
Episode 79.
We're really
podcast.
We're producing. We are kicking these things out, like we said. It's like midweeks, multiple episodes a week. I mean, this one with the Cincinnati game, it obviously just ended, and I think people are probably going to hear this the morning of Thursday, a little bit before we are going to be traveling,
embarking on a journey,
12 hours down to North Carolina to see this NYCFC team play at Charlotte. So you can imagine
minus Chanel, minus Acevedo,
minus Thiago Martins. Yeah. Right when you get everybody back, you lose everyone again. So,
yeah.
I mean, we could just get right into it. My thought with that stuff is like, I would like to see Keaton get some minutes today if it meant that he may be able to start for Charlotte. But like, hey, maybe Acevedo's out and Keaton is plugged in as a starter, and like that Acevedo being gone isn't really an issue.
Right.
But no minutes from Keaton. I don't think it was. I don't know. I mean, he is attacking. I think it could have been a situation to see Keaton come in and try to spark something, but maybe it was more of like a vibe team sheet thing as opposed to like he actually is ready to go at all.
No, I think it was just a flow of the game type of thing. I think you'd prefer Keaton earlier on. But yeah, I would have wanted him to get some minutes, but I think once it got down to 10 men, there was just no way. There's no way that it was going to be him coming on the field, which was a bummer because I feel like we could have used him. And
the dangerous thing is I don't want this to force him back next week if he's not ready.
Right. Yeah,
which,
exactly.
I mean, like that would just be I would rather like lose the Charlotte game than force Keaton back and have something happen, honestly.
Yeah. No, I think we could probably, we're down 2 center backs, so, we're probably reverting
back to Tayvon
or
Acevedo at right back, Tayvon center back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
or Acevedo can't play. We just said that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is horrible.
It's going to be Zelalem and Maxi probably in the midfield.
This is
hopefully
horrible.
A Keaton, but I think it might be like a 3-3 hella attacker type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The thing that sucks was I think obviously everybody should have been happy with this weird formation that I don't think we've seen before really from us.
Definitely more in the beginning of the season. Beginning of the season, and when Nick Cushing, I think when I might be confusing beginning of the season with when Nick Cushing started, because that was definitely a formation that we used to attack like Sounders, those type of teams, and it was kind of successful. So when I saw that come up again, I was excited for it because I remembered what it had done for us in the past. Yeah,
well, when we can force so many of our attackers to be in a compact space, and I think we have guys that like to find and take space. I mean, I think one thing that's great is there's clearly at this point no lack of confidence yet from the players. We saw, Acevedo pulls up, Collins pulls up, Tayvon. I mean, Santi, Maxi, everybody's doing it every game. So
you just want it to
good.
Find the net.
Mm-hmm. And Tayvon, speaking about him, I mean, he had his best game in terms of delivery. He was unlucky, I think, not to have a second assist to Gabby. But
arguably one of his best games ever. I was going to mention that at the beginning because I thought that we might just go straight into the negative.
Yeah.
So I was going to just mention like one of the biggest positives from this game was Tayvon doing that, not only in a game that we absolutely needed a result in front of Greg, really stamping his place in this team. I was proud of the boy. His crosses.
Dude, I would love for one day to have a viable Tayvon Gray U.S. men's national team jersey. That would be like the highlight of my life.
Possible. I would say it's probably his path to playing for the national team is quicker than Joe Scally.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. I think it depends on what position they're in, though. Like, I think Dest probably has that thing locked down for quite a while. So, and Tayvon, I mean, anything can happen 4 years. Obviously, Tayvon is not even being considered for, like, this current World Cup. But if, let's say, the next cycle 4 years from now, a lot of things could change. But right now, our immediate need is center back, and that's obviously something he like flourishes at. So maybe that's something he develops more into, depending if the club needs it, if the national team needs it. It's just going to be something to keep an eye on.
I mean, one thing that I thought was dope was there's almost no way that Greg was there to watch Tayvon.
Mm-mm.
Like, almost zero chance.
I think just Brandon Vasquez.
But by way of his performance, he may have been the only player that was being watched that entire game.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm the scout or I'm the coach coming and watching, immediately that's the only player I'm recognizing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well done on him. I think he's at least brought his name into consideration for a camp.
Mm-hmm.
To see a chance within the team.
Yeah, or at least, obviously some type of performance. I would have to look into it, but I'm not sure in terms of U teams, teen teams, whatever, if he's had any type of minutes or appearances with those guys. So I think at the very least, in terms of that, like, he needs to be considered.
In the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somewhere.
Like, in the system. I mean, I think he's won trophies with our academy team. I think with our inaugural team, I don't know how he wouldn't already be in the system if he isn't right now. But before we get, I think, into a little bit of the negatives, I think there actually is, despite, the red cards and the yellow card accumulations and all that stuff, a little bit more positives than the usual poor results that we've had. I mean, this first 45 and really the whole game, we dominated in literally every stat. I think we had, by the end of the game, it may end up being more, but like 17 shots, and like 9 of which were on goal. There was a point, though, when it was like 8 shots on goal by us to 0 by them, and we were tied, and it was just like, life makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah. We scored all the goals.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, we also did the thing of making a keeper look good. That's now 2 weeks in a row. We've built up
2 years in a row.
Petrovic. We've built up Gaga. We've built up Matt Turner. We've built up Solatano, this kid looks like a 15-year-old out there, literally.
I think he just turned 22 is what they said.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, we love to do this thing where we just like hit it right at their feet, and then MLS Twitter is like, this dude has to be transferred to Chelsea or Arsenal or Europe now.
Yeah,
like,
get him
right
to Real
now.
Madrid, start a job now.
Because Heber kicked the ball at his feet, or Santi tried to bicycle kick something and it hit him in the face.
Yep.
So that's definitely a negative from us to keep doing this thing, and then it's good to have all those shots, but it's not good to have like none of them go in. I think there were definitely
chances.
Mm-hmm.
The head bear shot was, I don't know if you heard me from downstairs screaming. That was, I literally yelped. I thought it was going directly into the net, bar down. I thought that was a great chance. I thought, towards the end though, we were just too tired, and I think the results, not to be a Jurgen Klopp or Liverpool, trash excuses, but these constant
that one's for Matt.
Yeah, these constant games are just wearing down on the guys, and it's like I think I was ranting the other day just about how dumb it is that we're rushing this schedule this year, just because we wanted to be, at the beginning of MLS, we wanted to be different, and we wanted to have this off schedule, and now it's forcing us to not have an international break in the middle of our league. It's now forced the league to finish before a certain date and put these guys through the ringer. I just don't think it's fair to the athlete. I mean,
and on top of that, I guess you get punished for being good, but we had all the CCL stuff early that hurt us, and I think the reason why we even had the DC game that obviously went poor for us was because that was rescheduled from back then. And obviously we talked about this whenever we talked about rescheduling matches, is like, if our team played the DC team at the time, no Wayne Rooney as the manager, no Benteke, Tati still on the team,
Collins
Keaton healthy, Collins healthy, Dyla's still managing. Like, that's our game in the hand that becomes the 3 points that every episode we sat here, like, that game in a hand will equal 3. And then unfortunately it didn't become that.
Because we were almost conditioned at a point. I was thinking too earlier today, I was like, dang, it kind of sucks that we haven't been to any games this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then it clicked to me. I'm like, dude, we've been to a couple. We've been to a few.
A lot.
But it's just the fact that this team seems so insanely different right now that
it almost feels like a new season.
It feels like an entirely different season, an entirely different team.
Yeah.
And that's from losing Dyla, losing Tati, having these guys injured. And, it was like a weird realization that this is a completely different team than what we saw.
And I thought today was going to be a completely different day. I mean, I tweeted it it's been like for 4 or 5 games. It's like, oh man, like not the typical feeling as like a fan, like being excited for your team to play. Like football is back, like feeling that excitement of like when something that you really love and feel passionate about is coming up. But it's been like 4 or 5 games where like you're kind of dreading it. Like with New England, I was like, obviously we're getting stomped. And with all the results that are going on, for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, I just felt good about this one, and like I was hyped.
It being Cincy.
I guess it was Cincy, and it was finally back home after this away stretch. But like I felt like 100% it was going to be a 3 points, and it just didn't turn out that way.
I would argue, and not to go too deep just for the sake of time, I would argue that the draw may even just be better for the team mentally to go forward and go on some type of run. Even if, Charlotte's a draw and we get a, win here.
At least a draw.
Something like that. It's got to
be at least
bare
a draw.
minimum.
Yeah.
But to have the team look at it and go, we were almost there. If we give that little bit extra, if we, make that extra pass, if we defend a little harder, if we reduce one more mental mistake, which was literally the difference today, one more.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about
one more mental mistake.
Own goal, like,
to just spur the team on and say we were that close to a win, rather than, we beat a terrible team 2-0 and it just results in nothing, and we kind of think, we won 2-0, we're back.
Yeah.
I think the draw kind of spurs us on to be like, okay, we were almost there. We have to do work. We have to keep going.
Yeah.
I feel like mentally that would be better for me.
Yep.
Not saying that they wouldn't have loved to win the game. I mean, obviously they would have.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of
it's a step forward,
going forward
from 5 losses. I mean,
right.
Like,
and so the doom and gloom
in a good showing as well. You know what I mean? Like,
we played well. And,
like Cushing can actually go in there and like stand on the leg like we should have won a game,
right?
And like have things to back that up.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, and he'll go in there and apologize for kicking into the net for us and everything. So
it was his fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, in the spirit of keeping it short, I think the last thing we do the thing where we talk like before the cameras start rolling, and then we hit a clap so we can audio sync, and then we just keep talking. So I don't remember if we also talked about like the Ted Uncle. No. I don't think we talked about that on camera.
No.
Obviously, we talked about the red card with Thiago, but like that was not a foul, unfortunately, on Thiago Martins. I guess at least the penalty was rescinded, and that, I don't know, we might have just emptied our karma bank of referees because we got 2 crucial Ted Uncle poor decisions reversed.
Yep.
We didn't get the third one. That's the red card, but like, simply put, that was not a foul.
It wasn't even a foul.
To me, that wasn't a foul.
And I'll look at it again. I did watch it with everyone else as many times as they replayed it. Mm-hmm. To me, that's without a doubt simulation. He's looking for the foul. He's not really touched.
Yep.
The ball, realistically, probably beyond his pace to get there.
Yeah.
I just don't see that resulting in the goal the way that maybe Ted Uncle did.
Yeah.
I also think Ted Uncle just is terrible at his job.
I also don't want to just put it on Ted Uncle, because this dude did go to the board, and like they talked to a committee of guys looking at screens, I guess in New York now, because it's centralized, and like somehow we're still getting these calls wrong. The main problem
man. We still is that the initial call was made by Ted Uncle. Yeah. And the initial the initial call has to be clear and obviously wrong, which you can't really say with the video that it's clear and obviously wrong that it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
But if you were trying to prove that it was, he probably also couldn't.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that Ted Uncle made the initial call, and he's bad at his job.
Yeah.
And his football knowledge is rotting his hair off of his head.
It's been doing that for a while because there's not much up there.
There's
not
like
much,
just a little donut on
not
the top
much
of his
hair
head.
left. But yeah, I mean, that's my bad. I brought up Ted Uncle when we were trying to get off the mics.
Yeah.
And when the boys talk about Ted Uncle,
you know. And then, before we go, just formally invite any NYCFC player that wants to show up to Top Golf on Friday in Charlotte. Come through. Beers on us.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to be in or around the away supporter section at Bank of America, the NYCFC supporter section there. So if any of you North Charlottans are there.
Or New Yorkers coming down.
Yeah, if you're traveling
Joe,
too.
come through.
We'll have stickers or something. We'll have something for you. If nothing else, our faces to take a picture with. So
stickers might be packed.
Yeah. Well.
Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, we're also just to say.
You're the
time's running, but we're gonna do our best to pack up pieces of the studio that can come mobile and see if we can record something there to keep getting these things out to you guys. So stay tuned for that. There's some soccer left to be played this season, so let's hope it goes well.
Let's hope we get a couple wins on the bounce.
Yeah.
Get this team turned around, and just if anything, we got to play for Ian. Let's play for Ian.
Yeah, and
last final season.
Play for me.
For my mental health.
Play for me, pray for me, all that. And yeah, I mean,
follow us on anywhere that you get a podcast.
We'll catch you guys in episode 80, the next one, which is a big number.
Number 80, which is going to be a special one.
Yeah,
we can say that
on the road. True. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
make
see
up
you guys
for the 50th
next week ish.
Yep.
So we'll see you next episode.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.